Hey guys, hope everyone's doing alright. I think that's the stream started properly. But yeah, so continuing obviously on the same project that we've been on for a while now. We're going to be doing a little bit of creature modeling, because why not? We've got 4 creatures in total that we'll probably have to make. Hey Shirley. Yeah, we got about 4 creatures we'll have to make, I think. So we got obviously this guy in the window, this guy in the gutter. We have him, although I'm going to have to figure out how to make that a little bit less subtle, because it's currently, as soon as you render it, it's gone, it's vanished. And we got this little mouse guy as well. In terms of renders, this is how it's currently looking. So it's getting there. I think the lighting for these two is working quite well. I really like he's got almost like a vignette effect to him. He's got like something a bit more subtle going on, which I quite enjoy. Him being rimlit could be quite a lot of fun with hair shading. And then this guy, who is literally invisible. So we're going to have to kind of figure out what we're doing. I'll probably open it up a little bit in some way, take a few boards down or break a few of them or something, just to give him a little bit more presence. Obviously we can hide more monsters. I'm not going to go too far in the whole hiding monsters everywhere thing, because it could feel a bit forced. There's not many places in the frame. I guess we could put something down here and maybe something kind of peering out here if we wanted to keep adding more monsters, which I think could be quite charming. Like if this project just becomes like a mega project and it has like loads of characters in it, it could be quite fun. But for now, these are the 4 that I want to keep in. Maybe have a hint of something here, like a little hair coming in from the corner or something. Just little things that are quite easy to do. Each character won't, be as polished as these two, just because they're naturally not that well lit. So we've got quite a lot of freedom. I'm just gonna, sculpt Zero Mesh, Auto UV, maybe give it a few UDIMs so we have a bit more resolution. And then, I'm not going to be having a clean pipeline for these guys. They're going to be modeled in position. Well, I'm going to model them symmetrically in ZBrush and then put them in position, then continue to sculpt them. But yeah, so there won't be any fancy pipeline on them. They'll just be modeled in place and in pose if they have a pose, which only this guy will. But yeah, so we need to start making monsters. So in terms of the direction we were going to go, so I've not got the sketch open right now, but originally I was thinking something with multiple eyes. So I think what we could do is start with this guy down here. I think he'll be the most fun, because in a way this mask is already working, so we don't really have to figure much out there. It's just a case of replacing it with something that isn't a copy paste of this guy. That said, if you guys think it's a better idea to have this mask be a theme, so like there's a slightly different mask in here, maybe this is a mask with multiple eyes, like I don't know if you guys want to keep that theme, because I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I was just going to quickly pop onto Google and look at more of John's work and kind of take some inspiration from those. Because obviously this isn't my art style. Granted, it's not exactly his either, because I've changed it a fair bit, but it's still like, it's based on his work. So I'll keep it at least somewhat true to his work. But yeah, so let's just quickly pop that over there. And let's just see if John has done any, John Kenn Mortensen. Let's just see if he's done any like spider type creatures. Let's close NordVPN. Is everything else need to close? I don't think so. Cool. So obviously like we got stuff like this, but I'm thinking in terms of like eyes. Like is there anything he's done that's got like loads of eyes? There must be something, right? Just to see kind of how he does it. Like does he do eyes that are kind of stacked up on each other, or does he do really small eyes so they can still have a gap between each other? If he hasn't done something with loads of eyes, then so be it. But it's just something I kind of want to check. I guess so. I think he goes for the eyes that are spaced out based on this guy, obviously. So we could try that and see how it goes. Yeah, if anyone has any suggestions though, or any particular reference they really like, put it in the chat. I'm more than happy to have a look. If you do post a link in the chat, make sure to put a space before the .com or something, just because if you put a full link, it will block it as spam, like immediately. just so you're aware of that. This guy is really cool. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. He's really cool as well. Okay, he'll be my main inspiration, I think. So let's grab him, put him in there. What else is there? The way he draws hair is so fun. He really likes these like little stout noses, doesn't he? And this mask kind of theme. He's got a lot of that going. I just realized stout noses isn't even a fucking word. When I say stout noses, what I meant is like this kind of hole in the face type nose. He seems to do quite a lot of that. I have no idea what the actual word for that would be. And then the first thing I do is click on an image where it's the opposite. Oh, this is kind of cool. We could obviously go for something like this as well, but it's quite a lot of hair to do. Alright, yeah, let's close that now. In fact, I'll bring that over here so I can get it later. Okay, I've looked into like how to get music onto YouTube streams and realized it's not actually that easy. In terms of like, you know, you have to make sure you're getting copyright free stuff naturally, but there isn't a way that's built in. So I'll just, obviously you guys can have another tab and listen to music. I'm sure that's what most of you do anyway. Yeah, so let's start figuring out how we want to make these guys. So let's go just a few subdivisions. There we go. And let's get a circle alpha on this guy. So let's just do something. I'm gonna get that ref on my other screen. So one thing that is for sure is we're gonna need a really wide head, because we need it to fit in like a grating. So let's go with that. Let's actually try to keep this like elliptical thing going. Could be a bit of fun. So maybe one person's work I'm always inspired by is Geo Napkill, and something he's had as like a little bit of a theme in his work, at least occasionally, like I've seen it a few times, is he has these really pronounced like brow type shapes. So let's see if something like that works on this, where basically it's flat leading up to this point and it's flat going away from it. It's like the ultimate like brow, and it kind of wraps around the side as well. You get the same thing there. So let's just try to make sure that we don't remove the elliptical thing there in the process. It's like almost like an orangutan type plane change. And let's go with that. So I'm like not a designer in the slightest, so do expect me to go back on myself quite a few times. So let's BDS. Something like that. So that'll do for the mouth. We are going to want to have something down here. I always overdo these little corner things, so I need to see if I can avoid that. Do we do teeth, is what I'm wondering. Like, how cute do we want to go? Like, do we want to have like a kind of gross cuteness to it, or? So something I'm seeing in this ref is like a really strong, like, you know, little cylinders at the bottom. So you can kind of see a form change here. Obviously there's a really strong one there, form change there. So let's see if we can get a bit of that as well. And let's fix this flatness just a little bit. Let's go mask pen. Oh, actually, let's go down to the lowest of. Let's just straight up steal that shape that he's got at the bottom. How would this thing look with a closed mouth? That's what I'm wondering. I should also probably update to the newest ZBrush soon. Because it's got the really nice thick skin stuff, which actually might be really cool for this project. So maybe I'll install that for the next stream. Let's just get a bit of an organic shape thing going. What we may have to do is design something that feels semi-organic and then miniaturize it so it doesn't feel too out of place for the project. Right, so eyes, how are we doing this? Let's So let's place some basic eyes. That one feels completely out of place. Let's get a bit of inflate in there actually. Inflate sometimes works a little bit better than standard brush for this sort of like kind of bunched up organic stuff. Although if you want a bit of texture to it, I always use the clay brush. Just realized I need to let's get where's it gone? Let's get that over there. One sec, I'm just updating something. So, something that isn't really working for me currently is the spacing. Like, this feels too human, like just this middle bit. So we could go down the same route that that John Kenn has taken, which again, just to remind, is this guy. That's what I'm kind of looking at. I guess the circle eyes are what makes that work, aren't they? So let's get that to be a bit more circle. Yeah, we'll have to get a bit of hair on there to kind of, obviously the shape is like insanely simplistic. But ultimately this thing is only going to be seen staring through a gutter, so he looks like he's smiling a bit too much right now. Let's fix that. Still smiling. There we go, that's a bit better. Although it's getting very square now. So how the fuck does zygomatics work on a face with 6 eyes? Let's completely cut behind this thing. That's a bit more interesting. Let's get a little bit more natural feeling. Obviously this would be like, this would cause so many wrinkles. Let's hollow that out. Fill these in. See, what I need to figure out is how creepy do I want these to feel? Because this isn't creepy feeling at all, really. I think mainly because of the eyes, to be honest. Get a bit of something going. Should we completely like hollow out the corner there? Do we need more eyes? That's what I'm wondering now. Let's just try. Oh, that's a happy accident. Bringing that forward. Maybe we should try to get like a different radius. It's like have the eyes operate on like a softer turn in the mouth. It's like in the world of guitars, there's something on guitar necks, which are the long bit, and it's referred to as compound radius, where like it starts off at like one size and becomes another over the length of the neck, and that kind of gives it like best of both worlds in a few aspects. And so maybe we can do stuff like that, where the mouth bends quite quickly and the eyes bend quite slowly. Gives kind of like a tapered effect. I want to make sure I don't just draw a mustache. This area's not working for me anymore. It's slowly just becoming a hammerhead shark. That's becoming too human. Let's try, maybe figuring out the hair around him will be helpful. So let's duplicate this guy. Subtool, duplicate. And then delete lower. Geometry, delete lower, delete higher. Just quickly sculpt that in around the face. Color, fill object. There we go. A bit of I've literally just forgotten what that brush that I was just using is called. Snake hook, that's one. So obviously, like, all this hair will be sticking out, like it won't just be going straight down. I'm just trying to figure out kind of, does it help everything work? And it doesn't. It just looks kind of weird, to be honest. It also feels like, is this another monster bot? Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out where monsters, or like how the monsters should look at this point. Like the extra ones. Let's completely pull that down. Well, that's kind of better. Okay, that feels a lot more interesting. Let's just soften that out. Where can I put more eyes? Let's have a quick sketch. Nah, it doesn't work. So you don't really need to worry about basically what's behind the face, because it all ends up hidden anyway, given where we're putting him. I'll delete the hair because the hair was awful, and let's just Z plugin. Let's duplicate this guy. Z plugin. What we're going to call these assets? So just extra monster A, B, C, D. Decimation master. Preprocess current. I'm wondering if these teeth just make it feel derpy rather than creepy. They feel a bit, you know, cliche. Wait, didn't I just do that? Preprocess current. Name them after food. Cookie potato. No, Nick. File to disk. There we go. Right. Let's try again. There we go. So that's 500,000. Let's go a bit lower because we are just blocking this guy out. So, well, this is terrifying. Well, that's good. Z plugin, decimation master. Cool. Then let's turn off groups, because I always forget to do that. Let's smooth normals too, and we don't need texture. And then for now I'm going to do the blasphemous thing, and put it on the desktop. Creature A. Just put creature A. 01. Cool. And then let's import this guy. No idea how big this guy will be. Probably quite small. Oh, actually, about the right size. What's the chance of that? So I might need to move the mouth closer to the eyes to get it to work. Oh, to be fair, in the ref, the eyes are pretty close to the mouth. Like, it's like an extra eyeball between the teeth, an eyeball and a half until the middle of the old top lip. And we're way more than that, so we can probably bring the mouth up. Although I quite like having this kind of diagonal. I forgot the term I'm looking for. Ooh. Okay. So having the eyes do the same shape, maybe? What I'm going to do is let a render clean up, at least to some extent. It's only 1K, so it shouldn't take too long. Because then we can just region render just wherever the monster we're currently making is. So then we know how it fits in the actual image. Obviously this is too bright, like he's got a Lambert on him, but just give that a second to clean up just a little bit. While that goes, let's yeah, let's continue on this guy. So let's try just bringing that down so it's more in line. See, currently something feels wrong with this angle. Like, it feels like there should be some kind of disconnect with the eyes on the side. Kind of like that. So these eyes feel more secondary to these ones. I also don't like the teeth anymore. I think there's a lot of possibilities with this guy. Like, we could have quite a lot of fun with him. So that should be clean enough for us to start. So let's get a more accurate material on him for now. There we go. I feel like the eyes need to be bigger for that to visually work. Like this kind of size. So let's try making these middle eyes like really large. Ooh. This slightly stretched look works well for me. I need to make sure it doesn't look surprised. And we'll need to do the same for these guys, won't we? We're getting a bit of that nose thing going on, which I'm not sure if I want that. It's got like tiny little vampire teeth. Okay, I kind of like that actually. Like tiny little vampire teeth. You won't see them in the render, but knowing they're there makes me happy. Alright, I'm gonna keep those. Let's just get them actually modeled in a little bit. Yeah, kind of. It's got like a really weird cuteness to it, so I'm gonna keep that. I think that's kind of fun. Let's just get a little bit of a hint at pressure here. She wouldn't have teeth like that without digging pressure into the bottom lip. Let's do that. Okay, kind of dig that. I think the iris is a bad move. Or a pupil even. That kind of works though. This gives me a hint at the actual eye. Should I just have these outward eyes like pointing completely opposite ways? Perfect. Oh, turn off RGB. I look at stuff like this and like, I work in children's TV. Like, I spend my days on stuff like Paddington Bear. Then I come home and I just like make this thing. Accidentally undid. this guy. Yeah, like for these secondary characters, it literally will be like, you know, zero mesh, displacement, poly paint. Not going to model eyes separate unless I need a specific shine. Just to get something that works. Also, if I'm speaking a bit loud, let me know. I do have headphones on listening to some music at the moment. Becca's out of the house at the moment, so. One thing I am kind of enjoying is how uneven the eyes are. Which is something really I should have mentioned in the eye tutorial I did a while ago, which is like, eyes don't have to be perfectly spherical. Like, they can look a bit boring if you do that. Granted, I overuse the word boring. I call a lot of things boring. Including myself, yay. Right, there's a very cool kind of hint at a cheekbone here. Water moose. Oh, is that the crab guy? Oh, I guess it is actually. Yeah, that's a good shout. Take a look at him later. Let's just get a little bit of a cheekbone in here. I kind of accidentally hinted at one, so let's just get that in there. And then what that will do is if we add like a hint of bone, we can then hollow out this area and it will feel like it's in the right place. So that can get something really creepy out. Like hollowing out eye sockets is a really good way to get something that looks uneasy. When people ask me like what my sculpting style is, I just say fucking tertiary forms. It's like this whole thing is just secondary and tertiary forms. Like the primary forms are so kind of simple that no, I can't do that. That's bad. Definitely not sure on this too much. Give him a pug nose by doing that. Should we continue this folder skin over, perhaps? Nah. I think it worked better earlier, did it? Let's just try pushing that. Yeah, no, it doesn't work at all. So let's try that. See if that's any better. So that's version 1. This is version 2. Duplicate this guy. Then let's overshoot it this time. Let's go percentage of decimation. Let's go down to 5%. And then I'm just going to go toilet while this pre-processes. I'll be back in a moment. processing? It has, I think. Let's get my headphones on. Yeah, it was earlier. It was better, I think. Okay. I'll see how this looks in the oh shit, what's the word I'm looking for? In the gutter, and then we'll see kind of if it works better in the context or not. The issue we had before is the eyes don't really fit, like in the context of where it's going to go. It doesn't really work for me. If this new one doesn't work as well, then we'll have to see what we can do. Maybe I'm not being brave enough on the eyes. I need to make the eyes massive, but we will see. For now, let's store a snapshot. There we go. So let's export that mesh. Just save it over that one, because we've got the meshes in here. File, import. What's this? Center surface 27. I need to go through and name the materials that I haven't named yet. Let's show, no, selection highlighting, there we go. We'll ignore the top of the head going through, because I can just get rid of that. For me, that works better, like in the gutter itself. Just turn him towards. I just need to make the eyes a darker shade. Get a bit of reflection on them. And also deepen these the mouth so it's consistent. I think I do prefer this one over that one, at least in the context. Without the context, yeah, I'm probably with Phil on that one. So let's kill that. And store another snapshot. View, store snapshot. Cool. Then we're just gonna have to flatten out the head. Oh, that's not what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And let's just reduce the size of the back as well, because it means we're using less polygons. Because it will literally never be seen from any angle other than the one we're currently doing. We should put at least some effort into making the other angles work, just so that it doesn't, I mean, there's actually no reason to make it work from other angles, I guess, but because it literally will never be seen. But I do want to make it look good from other angles, at least to some extent. Oh, I just realized I'm not listening to music right now. There we go. One sec, just trying to get music to play properly. I don't even play Zelda, but right now I'm literally listening to the Zelda soundtrack, like a lo-fi version. See, this was feeling a little bit flat when we rendered it. So let's get a bit of something going on in there. I guess inflate's another good time for you to get in use. I kind of got into the habit of using inflate more on the FK Twigs project. Like, it is pretty good in wrinkly areas because it naturally makes the wrinkles tighter rather than flattening them out. Should this be wider? Like that kind of thing. Let's test that out. Kind of for the newer, wider one. It's got a bit of a mess going on this, I think. I'm not too worried about exact shapes, just want to get a bit of jaggedness to it. Which quick zigzags with a damn standard definitely does that. So what was making the eyes feel dead? Let's quickly test. What's it like if I get a bit more reflection on there? So let's make it darker, but more reflective. And let's get a skin IOR in there. What happens if we set it to black completely? Nah, that doesn't work at all. Yeah, I need to find a way to make the eyes a bit more visible. We could start doing a basic texture. What kind of tone do we go with? Should take some influence from that Mr. Watermoose, as you call him. Should we make it slightly bluey grey? Mr. Watermoose. Like, should Louis legit go for these types of textures? Except the eyes, I don't want to do that. I know you could do. Yeah, I'm gonna go with like a grey kind of tone. Grey blue kind of thing. Let's just save this. It's been a while since we saved. And this I'm not saving on my desktop because that'll take way too long. Wrong place. Project, in fact no. Software. Pixelogic. ZBrush 2021. Z projects. Do we have one for StickyMonsters? We don't have a folder for StickyMonsters. Weird. call this monster A01. O1. So, colors. Let's do a little bit of texturing, shall we? That could be our base tone. Color, color fill object. And then the way I like to paint skin is color spray with alpha. Is it 07 or was it 23? I think it was 07 that I used to use. And what that lets me do is spray and get natural variation. Well, semi-natural variation. So let's just get a little bit of a variation going. Maybe we could block out tones without this first. Oh, that's too much. We're gonna need some like golden tones, I think, to make this work. I kind of want to play with like a little bit of wacky colors. Granted, I can already tell this doesn't really fit in the style of the project, so I do need to take that into consideration at some point. So let's go with a gold, more orangey. And I'm currently overdoing the colors. I will be taming them down later. I just want to block out general areas of tone. Let's get a bit of red. And I just kind of put that a little bit everywhere, just to give it at least some hint of blood. Because otherwise it's a bit too dead. Although it's getting a little bit sunburny now. Let's darken up the eye sockets. Skin needs to be darker for that to work, doesn't it? Or do we go for white eyes? Or both. Kind of works. I think dark eyes feels less toony. Let's get a hint of white at the bottom. Take some depth. Yeah, skin tone needs to be a lot darker for this to work. Let's just spray it towards black. Come on. There we go. Get a bit more yellow over there. I think the yellow around the eyes isn't working like at all. Let's replace that with purple. Purple works a bit better. Then let's go back in and paint black. Would other eyes help? Too symmetrical. His main eyes are too... cutesy's not the word. Too neutral. See, most of this will be covered in fur. Something worth considering. I'm also loving this kind of like side face we got going on over here. Like if I do that, oh, there you go. It's like a little face on the side. Kind of like that. Not too keen on the colors, but let's have a quick test. So, that's gonna be the best way to do this. Let's duplicate this guy. Geometry, zero mesher, back up to 100K. I should just be able to get away with that. Z plugin. Well, let's test that out as is for a moment. So export. Import. I should probably reference it so I don't have to keep putting it in position. Did I not flatten the head enough? It looks like the new one. Yeah, that is the new one. Okay. Let's give it a go with the textures and the thing. So Z plugin. Well, I guess let's do that. So I'm going to auto UV it in Maya. Import. Cool. Let's turn on selection highlighting and also solo the sky. UV editor. Oh lord, this is slow. Okay. Mapping. This might crash, who knows? It cuts the weirdest islands at times. So let's move and sew those edges. In fact, why am I doing it like this? There's an easy way to do this. So let's map. Let's see if this works. I've never tried this before. Because I don't need good UVs. I need UVs. Ideally without any overlap. So we got that. This is struggling really hard. Is it the Grimms by any chance? Yeti's got so many little bugs. Alright, cool. So what I'm gonna try is, let's go with let's get some symmetry on there to begin with. Symmetry world X. Yeah. So what I want to do first is something like that. Then what I can do is convert a selection to edges on the perimeter and then do a cut of that. So now that face should unfold. There we go. So then I guess the best thing to do from there is to let's do that. Convert to edge perimeter. And then cut those edges too. So now all of it will unfold. Now we don't need high resolution maps, so I don't need to worry about UDIMs, I guess. So let's just see how all that unfolds, possibly really badly. It is really heavy as well. I should probably go a little bit lower res, I don't need this much resolution. It just means I don't really have to worry about the amount of geometry. So let's go down to 40k, which will give me a mesh that's like 65k, because it always gives you more than you ask for. Adaptive only ever goes up, it doesn't seem to go down. Even a mesh like that would be better. 70, bit more than I thought. Yeah, I think that's killed my. Alright, so let's get that exported to something a bit more manageable. Or even lower. Let's try lower. Let's go to 20 and that will give us what, 45 at current rate. $37. Does it get more accurate the lower res you go? Okay, well that's a healthier poly count, I think. So let's export that. That's already set up. Export. Let's just save as well while we're at it. Of course it goes out here. Alright, CG stuff. Software, Pixelogic. And Z projects. StickyMonsters. Did this crash? Yeah, I think it did. So let's close that. Kill my. Cool. So before I do anything, let's just do the UVs of that character in isolation. So got that. Cool. A lot lower res. So let's open the. Oh, there it is. Cool. So mapping planar map X, doesn't really matter which way I do it. Let's get symmetry on. World X. Let's just make sure we get everything in. Yeah, the end of the mouth is earlier than that. Cool. So then convert to edges, edge perimeter, cut. Cool. So let's just grab all those. Let's do it again. So how's everyone's day going? Okay, that's crashed again, hasn't it? Why is that crashing? What am I doing wrong? Okay, we'll try one more time, and this time I'll use the correct tools for everything. Let's just see if that makes a difference. File, import, desktop. And let's start UVing that. So mapping. I'm also going to delete history as I go. Okay. Cool, so I'm just gonna export that over the other mesh. Cool. So let's just do that. Right, so now let's go into face mode and select up to that point. And again, to edge perimeter and cut. So now let's go into UV shell mode and unfold all these. Right, okay, so that's working so far. So now let's export you again. Cool. And then let's see if I want to cut this from the front. UV. Does it just crash if I select the whole object? I mean, at least I just exported it. I've UV'd things that are way more than 40,000 polys before. End the task. If this doesn't work, then I'll just bite my tongue and do auto UVs and leave it at that. Right, so import. Okay. So let's lay those out. So maybe what we should do is going to let's cut these in half because we don't see them anyway. And then let's go to UV shell border. No. To edges, edge perimeter. Cut. UV shell. Layout. I'm going to lay these out manually because that's not really working for me. Okay, so that's top. That's the bottom. That one is the bottom. That one is the top. So let's switch the side that these are on. I can also make them smaller, but I'll do that in a moment. So let's scale this guy until he is as wide as we can get it. Obviously we could cut him in half as well. Which I'm not too keen on the idea of doing that, to be honest, but it's an option. Let's see if these can fit down here. Yeah, they can't. Okay, so what I'll do, grab all of them, scale them down. So they're not perfect UVs. I'd be very upset if I saw these in production, but they work fine for what I need. So let's get that exported. Export selection. Put it over this guy. Cool. And then let's open our scene. Color management, yeah, that's fine. While that goes, let's import that mesh. So that will now have UVs in theory. Let's check that. Yeah, it's the same. Cool. Cool. So let's start transferring everything across to it. Let's hide you. Geometry. So subtool, project all. There we go. Now what? Are we doing displacement? I guess we should do, right? Okay, so let's delete this guy. Keep the scene a bit smaller. We do need to make the top of his head a bit smaller. I'm not too worried about UV distortion, to be honest. Cool. So for now, we will do just color, because I don't need to bake displacement out until I know that the general thing is working. So let's go Z plugin, multi-map exporter, texture from Polypaint, perfect. Let's go 2K should be plenty. So let's go 2K. Because these are secondary monsters, I don't want to be using 4K maps for everything. Obviously displacement I'll use 4K just because I need, you know, you'd need more information to get that to work properly. And it won't capture all the details once we actually do any details, if we do any details I should say. Person projects, sticky monsters, scenes, let's go texturing. Okay. Char secondary monster A. That's a long name. Cool. And then we'll just save everything in there, I guess. Cool. Hide the grim. File, import. Get this guy. Cool, let's assign a new material to that. And let's go with an Arnold shader, stamp the surface. In color, grab a file. This file should be set to utility sRGB texture. Let's turn off filtering, we don't need that. And I should now go to scenes, texturing. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Let's see how bad this looks, shall we? Top of his head is sneaking out again. Oh yeah, because I flattened it, but didn't actually update the model. Right, I'll do that in a second. Let's just see how the colors work first. Color space isn't working. There we go. So, these are the wrong resolution as well. give this a few rounds. Color's absolutely not working for me, so we'll have to do something with that. Okay, that'll do for now. And let's just drag him down a little bit. Yeah, his skin needs to be way darker. So, does the color feel more saturated now? Am I using the right color space? Wait, I thought I changed that. Oh, that's much better. Still too bright, but it's better. Okay. So how much darker can we go? What tone should we use to go darker? You know, we could just literally paint it towards black. But we're going to need to do something to make that more interesting. Let's do some cavity masking. So let's go masking. That's by feature. Let's try that. That's by cavity. Do it a bit more subtly this time. So now that we've butchered our texture, let's get in there and sharpen everything up a bit. And let's turn off, BDS. We will have to smooth a few of these textures out and then go in and actually, like, you know, sharpen everything up. So the reason I'm saying smooth it and then sharpen it is because I just realized my music's not playing again. There we go. But yeah, the reason I'm saying smooth it and then sharpen it back up is because we've got a lot of areas where the masking just kind of, you know, did some really weird shit, like here, for example. But this will just help us figure out a general tone. And then let's just okay. So now color pick, color spray, alpha, blur out some of these weird artifacts. I'm only blurring the RGB right now. The way I'm doing that is I'm holding smooth, but while I hold smooth, I've got it set to RGB. So that way it only blurs the textures, it doesn't blur anything else. And that just allows me to get rid of some of the weirder looking effects. So again, like that masking stuff is only to block stuff out, it's to help me figure out certain things. Like you definitely don't want it to catch like brush artifacts like it is doing here. You want those to be only in the sculpt, if you want them at all. Areas like that need to be completely torn apart as well. Cool. So let's start getting a bit of sharpness back into the textures. Let's saturate that a little bit. When you get darker, generally speaking, you want to get a bit more saturated as you go. The nice thing about color spray is it naturally gives you a little bit of tonal variation, especially with darker values. Like when you're painting darker stuff, it works really, really well. If I push down hard, you can see all these crazy hues coming in. I find that really helpful. So I'm just going to paint the back of the head so it's not glowing. So although we won't see it, it will affect the lighting. Because if you like paint the back of the head like pure white, you're going to get more bounce light off the back. So it might light the wall behind him a little bit clearer. And if you're thinking, oh, well, that doesn't make sense at all. Like imagine if I was to put a mirror on the back of a character, it's going to bounce more light, right? Well, white is the same thing. White is just light being, all light tones being reflected. Okay, and I'm going to try to catch some lighter tones in this area. Let's get that purple, brighten up a little bit. And what I'll do once I've done a pass of all these kind of tones, I'll go in and start adding things like you know, general coloration, like areas like this one I want to change quite a lot. It feels a bit muddy at the moment. That'll feel considerably better than it did a moment ago. So let's go export mesh, export options, mesh. Cool, and let's get displacement as well. Displacement we're going to do 32-bit, I guess, because it's always the way to go. Smooth UV turned off. Don't need adaptive, don't need any of that stuff. Cool. So export options, export. Let's just leave that to do its thing. There's no way that was legitimately how quickly it did it. So let's call this material creature. No, we need to keep it consistent. Secondary monster A. I'm going to need to change that, aren't I? Man. Oh, let's call it skin. Cool. Now let's delete that guy. File, import. Then Let's go to CG stuff. Projects, personal projects, sticky monsters, scenes, texturing, secondary monster A. Then we've got our mesh in here. There he is. Cool. Assign that material to it. Cool. Then let's grab the correct skin texture. And we'll also want to Arnold. Let's go 3 subdivisions, which is more than it will need. In fact, no, let's go to 2. That's fine. Auto bump, enable auto bump. Cool. Then go to that material. Go to its shader group, add a Arnold, add a Arnold displacement here. Fine, I'll do it manually, Jesus. I don't know why it's stacked them, it's super weird. Okay. Is it not an AI displacement? Okay, let's create a file node. Utility raw. This is 32-bit data. Cool, and let's turn off save a scene. That's looking a bit better. So now I need to cover it in fur and completely hide everything we just did. Although I do need to get some shine on the eyes to get those to like really sit well. I'm still not entirely convinced to like it. Okay, so let's create some little corneas. And these are going to be generic because we're going to want some to use on every monster, I guess. Let's do it at least somewhat correctly. Cube. Smooth. Let's go 3 times, because then we don't have to subdivide it. Deform. Sculpt. Cool. Then let's assign a new material. Oh, that's a standard surface. Don't mean to do that. Wait, no, I did. So, I'm not going to worry about shaping them correctly or anything like that. I'm only really adding this to get some reflections in. Although I might go and bake out the displacement at 4K. I think Becca just got home. Is that you, Becca? Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's creepy.
You'd be really terrible if it was a fucking burglar, man.
Oh yeah, that'd be awful. I mean, I had headphones in. You didn't tell me you were coming home.
I don't think I needed to.
Well, you know, be nice to know. There we go. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, so we've got a bit more of a reflection on the eyes now. Looks suitably creepier. Did I not duplicate it when I... There we go. So just out of curiosity, let's kill this render. And I'm going to create a... I'm going to create a new camera. So let's duplicate you. No. Let's call this one temp cam. Let's give it a big lens. Let's say 120mm. I think that's suitably creepy for such a quick little guy. This refraction's not working for me. Something feels off about it. we don't need subsurface on him. You have to name all the meshes soon. Oh, that fence is still hidden. So let's get his skin shader working. Bit more roughness on there. Or do we go with a lower roughness to make it feel greasy, but then step down the color? Yeah, I think that works better for me. So now I need to get some hair on this boy. Do we do that now or do we do that in a different stream? Let's try doing a full context render. I could do a bit of scene cleanup because I do need to do that. Let's go to you. Let's go render cam. Timing of that was impeccable. Cool. So while that goes in the background, let's get. Oh, that's not what I want at all. Let's figure out what we want in terms of hair. If you're wondering, like, oh, I can't see what he's drawing in there, I can't either. I'm just breaking up the silhouette right now. And then let's get some. So I think what would be cool is if we basically fill the inside of this manhole cover with him, basically. Have a few hairs like leaking out. Stuff like that. Well, that one's kind of camp, so let's not do that. A bit campy. Let's go. There should be some along the bottom, I think. Let's make a bigger pen. I think that could be quite cool. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's go with the thin pen. feel like this feels a bit campy as well. That works a bit better. Not doing this arrow shit between the eyes. Yeah, I think we could have quite a lot of fun with this. So, it's just gone 10 o'clock. It's too late to really start in the groom because we wouldn't really make any progress. So what it might be worth me doing is just doing a bit of scene cleanup. Or maybe sketch what I want this to look like. I kind of dig this as it is right now. I kind of don't want to change it. Or if I do change it, it'll be very sort of like maybe make it more skin-like rather than this. The mouse I'm looking forward to. I'm wondering if I want to go cute or if I want to go something that's actually like a mouse. It's actually kind of creepy. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Okay. Right, let's do some scene cleanup. Boring, I know, but I kind of have to. So, I'm going to run the group. So let's go group all these guys. Secondary monster A group. Cool. What's that? So that's fence group's fine actually. What are they called? Oh shit, what are they called? Fuck. I can't say doorway. What is the name of these things? I'll have to come back to that. That's a door group. Okay, and that can be on its own. That one can be window boards geo. Let's give these a thickness. Modify, center pivot. These have a thickness? They do. Good. About these, they do as well. Although their thickness isn't that much. Let's give them a bit more. Feels a bit too straight, doesn't it? Oh, it's doing that thing as well. What's causing that? Okay. Drain pipe. House group. Can delete that, delete that. We've got the suites, they can stay. Background environment. Is there anything we want to save from this? I don't think so. I mean, we can technically keep the entire fucking desk and just have it in the background. Just as something casting a shadow. That way it's not gone completely to waste. I need to undo a few moves. Okay. Don't need that. Let's just see if this works in any capacity at all. Doesn't really make much sense, does it? Shall we just put this behind there just for the sake of it? Needs to be a damn sight bigger. We have to model some legs. It's completely not worth it, but I kind of just want to keep it. Makes the environment feel a bit more filled. Although it doesn't make any sense for it to be outside, so I might have to restyle it, but cool. That way we've not put loads of work to waste, you know. Like it's a little bit better. But in that case, why did I delete the pencil? Keep that on the desk too while I'm at it. Fuck it. Right. I am trying too hard to save stuff. I'll probably end up deleting that stuff later. What is M for temp group? P cube. What are you? Alright, that can absolutely go. Ground group. And then what is cylinder? Oh, trash can group. Oh, geo. And we'll call it proxy for now. Ground geo, we only need a curve group. Although we could merge them all into one object, but for now I'll do it as a group with unnamed objects in it. Curb slab group. This is the path. This is the road. Road geo. Call this path geo. Oh, that's proxy as well for now. What else? What are these called? It's so dumb that I've got that, that much detail on the floor back here. Right, so what is group 1? Is that just the fence? Okay, so we can get that out of there. And there's nothing in there anymore. It's still, oh, it doesn't do that anymore, okay. What's in there? Oh, I can delete that. It's irrelevant. So this one is house geo, although we'll be replacing that. And I guess we can put house group. Let's grab, what are you? Come back to that. I can go in the ground group. Mouse temp group. So we've got the ground, which can go into the environment group now. We've got the mouse temp, which can go into render geo. We've got the house, which can go into env group. We've got the washing line, which can also go into env. Trash can proxy, env fence, env groom. We leave that alone. Delete you, and where were you? Oh, we want that. Cool. That's a bit cleaner. Let's go into edit, delete unused nodes. Since surface 1 cannot be deleted, okay. Let's just see how many objects are left. Okay, so we've still got quite a few unnamed materials. So we'll see how this bit goes now that I've unhid the light. Could be possible we just don't need the light at all. I'll probably end the stream in about 20 minutes, by the way, guys. So I might start a 2K render. Good day, Becca. He actually ended up quite creepy, this little guy. So, is that rendering now? Going to the land of bed. Okay, I'll be ending the stream in like 20 minutes. So I'll come over then. Sweet dreams and all that stuff. Let's get some subdivisions going on these. Why have they got so many shape nodes? Let's fix that. Windows, no editor. Because that one has one shading group. Okay. That might have finally got rid of the shapes. Cool, there we go. Cool, so let's get some Arnold settings on these guys. Well, he's off screen, so he doesn't matter. He's on screen. Cat Clark. Let's just do one subdivision. We'll be adding displacement at some point, but let's get it on this guy too, if he doesn't already have it. Give that a moment to do its thing. Just gotta close the door. 1 sec. My room and the bedroom are like right next to each other, so I don't want the door open. I don't want to keep Becca awake. Even though my voice probably travels through the wall anyway, but still. Oh, he's sneaking through the top of here again. I mean, we can just do a lattice deformer or something. Yeah, let's quickly sort that out. Just sneaking through there. Although we probably should bevel this, which in of itself has kind of fixed it, but let's sort that out anyway. So let's start 2K render. Let's save this guy while we're at it. Let's get the snipping tool on this guy. There we go. Cool. Yeah, so let's get that rendering. So what I'm wondering now is, do we do like a zero gravity type thing on the hair? Or do we make it kind of floaty? What I'll do is save image, desktop, save it as the kid 5, open that in Critter. And then while it renders in the background, we can paint over it and then just, you know, refresh the background of our painting once it's cleaner. That way we're not just sat here waiting for nothing, and I can kind of talk about what I'm going to do. And we can figure out other aspects of the project as well. Open. Cool. So let's get some painting over this. Cool. So let's just get some black on there. Completely black out that entire area. So I guess we should fade the skin, so it's like a soft transition into hair, which will kind of get rid of some of that bad shaping that I did. What else? I see we're gonna need some clumps coming out as well. So let's go oh, it could be cool to have a couple of swirls in there. Let's get a little bit of something up here. I feel like we need to blend the face in a bit more. So let's just get a slightly cleaner image now. File, save as, desktop. Cool. File, open. Copy layer. And paste layer. There we go. So the same treatment with this guy. What we're gonna add? Maybe for him it should be like more short fur. It's like literally barely coming out and it's like super straight. So it's like almost like spiky feeling. Maybe it should just be around the eye. So you have a reflective eye with all this hair around it. So what happens if we it feels like it needs to be a little bit longer. Get a little bit of a curl in there, maybe it's too straight. That helps. This kind of zigzaggy thing is kind of interesting actually. Then we have to do something coming out of this. Maybe this one can be the really chaotic one. It's literally just like whatever chaos. And then like maybe a little eye coming out of it. Do 2 eyes. This area back here will be out of focus, so I do need to kind of consider that. Maybe bigger eyes. That's kind of cool. That's not as cool. He's kind of fun. He'll be a super quick one to do as well. Relatively speaking, anyway. Do I need to make brighter reflections in his eyes? Obviously I can paint that sort of stuff in, but does that help? Yeah, I don't really like that, so let's paint those back out. I'm not entirely set on this one yet. And him, he's obviously simple enough. He's just a case of getting some nice flyaways on there. Let's update the image again. So there's copy layer, paste layer. There we go. It's not a huge difference. Difference obviously gets smaller each time you do this. So where else can we put some monsters? Obviously we've got the little guy in here somewhere. Now that this is getting cleaner, I'm still not entirely convinced I like it. Have all the hair curl up at that bit, kind of looks a bit much. It's starting to look like the Niffler now is the problem. Because he's got the little stout nose. And like, as cool as a Niffler is, it's not what I want this monster to be. Granted, I'm still not 100% sure if I even want them to be scary. These curls are too symmetrical. So I need to figure out what I'm doing with the hair up here. This area, like, I don't like these. In fact, actually, let's quickly paint that out and see how much better it looks. Yeah, it looks better. Let's just get a bit more detail in that. So it doesn't feel as fake. At least somewhat tries to blend in with the hair around it. Okay. I think this is a good place to end the stream. Alright, cool. Well, that's it for today. I'm gonna kind of play about with ideas in my head to see kind of where we can go from here. But yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed it. This session's definitely got more likes than normal, 7, which you know, is not huge in the grand scale of things, but for me that's pretty nice. So thank you very much. And yeah, I hope whoever's watching is kind of learning some stuff and, you know, getting something out of it. And yeah, well, I'll be streaming again. Today is Thursday. Hopefully I'll be streaming on Saturday. It's always hit and miss whether I stream on Saturdays now that I've moved. Should be streaming this weekend at some point. And if not, I'll be back on Tuesday as always. So yeah, enjoy your week, guys, or enjoy your Friday, and hopefully see you guys again on the weekend. Right, bye bye.